Tell me when.
Anytime you're ready, Coach.
Yeah, excited for our guys. Getting into the NCAA tournament is extremely hard now more than ever. Our guys have overcome a lot. A lot of teams have. But, I hadn't been in many seasons where we had, 2 broken ham aches, a blood clot, a broken rib, and then, obviously Vance not being able to play the last couple weeks. But our guys stayed with it. They finished pretty good, played well in the tournament. Unfortunately, we couldn't beat Clemson, but right now nobody seems to be able to. But I think our guys are in a good place, and now we get ready and try to win this regional.
Terre Haute surprise you? The location and everything?
Yeah, honestly, when I looked at it, I was just hoping we would have good weather wherever we go after dealing with that stuff in the ACC tournament. And I pulled it up on my phone as soon as I saw it, and it looks like it's going to be 90 and hot and sunny, and that's the way it should be this time of year. But this team, when you play in the ACC, you're prepared for anything. So wherever they send us is where we were going to be happy going.
And then all the projections had you on the 2 line, and then you end up in the 3 line. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, I don't think there's any difference much between 2 and 3, to be honest with you. I think everybody, you look at the tournament, there are a ton of really good 4s. This is a tough NCAA tournament. And I think it's only going to get tougher as years to come with the transfer portal and things like that. So I don't think there's a big difference between 2 and 3.
This is teams you don't normally play.
Right.
What's the scouting normally like? I'm trying to find out who these teams are.
Yeah. Now there's so much video,
Yeah.
So you really don't need help from others. If I look at the schedule and I see that they play somebody that I do know well, I'll get their opinion on them as an overall team. But we have plenty of time with the advanced technology we have. We can knock out these reports probably in a day. We'll look really hard at Iowa first and see who we think the best matchup is against them, either Carlson or Knapp, and make that decision, and then we'll start getting ready for the other teams that we could play.
Is it exciting too that these are teams you don't play too? Because it's a fresh.
Yeah,
it's fresh.
Yeah, it is. And I'm excited for our guys because, this time of year you're just hoping that you're in the tournament. Every year, you a lot of teams take it for granted, and after going through what we went through and missing it 2 years in 15 and 16, right there on the bubble, I know what that feels like. So these guys have put in the work. But yeah, we're excited. You get to go somewhere and you haven't played any of them, so that's an added bonus of excitement for sure.
How do you go about that, though? You're talking about sitting down and learning about these teams, because it's not like you're playing Coastal or South Carolina where you're so familiar.
Yeah.
What are the steps that you take?
You know what? I've learned that it's more about how we play. Okay. At the bottom line is I told our guys, preparation is the key. How we play is the key. We will look at the other teams as coaches, but I don't really want our guys to focus on the other team. I want them to focus on today at practice. We're using the indoor because that's turf. We're going to be playing on turf. Just to get ready to do the same thing we've done all year. And then obviously tomorrow's practice we'll look and see how Iowa plays. If they do something in particular, like do they have a bunt game? I know they run quite a bit. So we'll work on those things and have a scouting report, but you can throw that scouting report out the window if we don't play well. So we're going to focus on us.
Is Pittsburgh the only turf games you played?
No, Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech, that's right.
Charlotte.
Notre
Dame. Yeah, a lot of turf. So the game is a little bit quicker on turf, but obviously fielding a ground ball is easier.
When you talked Saturday about flushing all of that and getting ready for the NCAA tournament, where here you are, you had some success. Some guys had some individual success. How do you carry that over yet flush the results?
Yeah, 100%. I think if you look at the ACC tournament, beside the one inning, the first inning against Clemson, where we got in that hole and gave up 5 runs, and even then our guys, Grice was throwing good, and we still scored off of them. So I felt like we played well. And you look at the 2, really, 3, Clemson as well, but Georgia Tech and Virginia can really hit. You look what they've done all year, and I've been saying we got to pitch, we got to defend. And if we play like we did against Virginia, that's what we're capable of doing. So our guys, I don't think that losing to Clemson, did anything for their confidence. If anything, I think going 2-1 made them more confident.
What's the Vance update?
Right now, unfortunately, it's a lower back, and the only way to heal it is rest. So he's pretty doubtful for the regional.
So earlier it was a lower body, and this is something else that just cropped up?
Well, it's lower back, so that's lower body.
okay, gotcha.
So it's the same thing. And, my job as the head coach here is to take care of our players first. And, Vance Honeycutt's going to be playing baseball for a long time, way past probably me even being coaching that long. He's that talented. So you get the doctor's opinions, and we have to do what's best for Vance. And Vance he wants to play, but until that lower back heals completely, it's just one of those things. You have to rest to heal it.
Did it get worse? Because I sensed, just reading between the lines of what you were saying, that he might have been able to play during an ACC tournament, but you didn't want to. That's not the case.
We got news that there was no way he was going to play in the ACC tournament. We found out it was actually worse than we thought it was when we got back from Clemson. That's why we're like, okay, can't play in the ACC tournament. We'll hope to rest him and see what happens. And that doesn't mean we go on a run and we get to Omaha. You always have hope, but Vance will not be available for the regional.
But Patty's come in pretty well on left field for you.
Yeah. I mean, that's been huge for us. And, we're past the initial shock of not having Vance. And now Vance he's such a glue guy. He'll be in the dugout with us, and our guys are going to rally around it and do everything to raise their level to help us succeed.
I know we've asked you about this, but it was the NC State series for Vance. But what exactly did he do to hurt the back?
You don't know. I mean, Vance is a dynamic player that is a speed guy. And when it's lower back like that, it can spasm. It can, I don't know if any of you guys here have ever hurt your back, but I've hurt mine. And, when you're an athlete, the back is one thing that if you don't let it heal, it's like a hamstring.
Right. It's like Pete Nance in basketball this year.
Yeah, you got to let it heal.
Did he crash into the wall?
It wasn't anything in particular. It just, kind of felt it on a sprint to first base.
Yeah.
On that last day. And, we looked into it deeper because we're like, okay, we need to figure this out. We want to make sure there's nothing more to it. And it was a little more severe than we thought, and it kept acting up. And the only way to get him healthy is to rest him, and that's the way a back works. And so that's what we're going to do for Vance.
As far as the lineups with him out, Carter played some center, Matt played some center. Johnny looked pretty good at third.
He really did.
What's the plan there?
Yeah, I think we're going to stick right now. If I would say Johnny's going to stay at third because I feel like Alberto's finally back with his bat speed. I was talking to a friend of mine that had a big leaguer that he knows really well that had hamate, and she said, when you're a power guy, that bat speed takes a while. But I thought Berto had some really good swings in the ACC tournament. Hit 2 balls off the wall in left field, hit a home run to right field. So we'll stick with Berto in that DH slot, Johnny at third, and we're going to keep Mac in center field.
Anything else?
Oh, yeah, I've got plenty.
Go ahead.
I was trying to tweet it, Scott. You got to get the new, rush to report.
Of course.
You throwing out any Larry Bird things for Indiana State? That's what I was saying up there.
Of course, yeah.
I thought you would.
That was at my heyday. Yeah, no doubt about it. Talking about when the NBA was unreal. Not that it's not now. I don't want to make anybody mad, but that was when I grew up, and Larry Bird and Dr. J, and then Jordan and the Pistons and the Bulls and the Sixers and the Celtics. So, yes, a couple guys in there even said it, which impressed me. I was like, oh, y'all didn't know who Larry Bird is.
Okay.
But, I sensed it when we got back. I feel good about this team. You're not going to pull a Vance Honeycutt out of the air. You're just not going to. But I do know that getting Patty back and, having Berto back 100% and Johnny holding down the fort at third base, I'm excited about watching our guys play.
Since we won't get you before you play again, I don't think. If we wanted to write a Tomas Frick feature,
Yeah,
they've been playing so well. I know we asked you about him in Durham, but if you look at the numbers, these things have the power numbers have doubled.
Yep.
Or tripled in some cases. How has he done? He's played every day for 3 years now, and
Yep.
you look at the first 2 years, the numbers were similar, and now this year the huge jump.
Yeah, it's credit to him. He's really learned to take care of his body. He's getting more sleep. He's eating better. And he's made some adjustments with Coach Wiersbicki on his swing. He's getting the ball in the air to left field more. You go watch video on him. You get around the ball. Most of his balls to the left side were singles. Now those balls are getting in the air and they're doubles or they're home runs. And I do want to point out he's raised his level. Tomas he's a leader. He's a competitor. But he knew we were without Alberto for a while. He knew we were without Johnny. And then going into that stretch, okay, we're not going to have Vance. Well, guys have to raise it to make up for that production, and he's been one of those for sure. I mean, we wouldn't be where we are without Tomas Brett.
Right. I mean, you've needed him. You said the other day you've known him since he was really young.
Yeah.
Like, what did you mean by that?
We just
Like,
saw
how
him here.
young were you talking about?
Man, it was brother played shortstop at
Right,
Wake,
right.
and he was catching for a travel team here at the Bosch. Loved his energy, loved how he played. I
It's a
spent
baseball family, too.
baseball
right?
family. I spent 3 years in the state of South Carolina as an assistant coach at Winthrop, so I got to know a lot of high school coaches. So I started calling around, and everybody loved him. Everybody said he had leader written all over him. We were looking for a catcher in that class, and the rules were a little bit different then. You could talk to kids earlier and things like that, but we offered him. He committed right away, so he had been committed for a while, and we're lucky to have him. The state's been pretty good to us lately. State of South Carolina.
Yeah.
What's the finality like? I mean, you talked about in the regular season you had the tournaments. In the ACC tournament, you got the NCAA tournament. We're here it's win or go home. What's the message?
I mean, this is why you do it. That's what I told our guys. Like, this is what you've been waiting for. No offense to the ACC tournament. We won the ACC tournament last year, but people remember you based on what you do this time of year in the regionals, in the super regionals, and if you get a chance, to make it to the College World Series. So again, just reiterating to the guys, it is a brand new season. It doesn't matter what anybody's done, but reminding them too, okay, we watched the show, we're excited, but that needs to fade, and we need to go to work. We need to prepare. We need to practice. We need to practice with intent, and then enjoy it as well. Like, you got to enjoy it, and that helps you play loose.
One more.
Pitching rotation.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
you had some unevenness, I guess you can call it.
Well, it's going to be Knapp and Carlson. There are 1-2 guys. I made up my mind after that. As soon as Bovair struggled, he'll be in the bullpen. I'm not even going to look at the Game 3 starter. I'm going to go into it just like we did in 2011 and 2018 with Criswell and Bergner in 18, and with Patrick Johnson and Ken Emanuel. I feel like Knapp's throwing extremely well. Carlson's been throwing much, much better. And we have some other options if, once we get to Game 3, depending on what AC does. He's got a history of starting. I feel like he's been throwing better. But right now, I'm going to look at the matchup, and I'm confident with Knapp or Carlson starting against Iowa, but I don't know enough about them yet to decide which one. But Knapp or Carlson will start Game 1. Knapp or Carlson will start Game 2.
To follow up on that real quick, sorry, Jody.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it sounds like you like AC for possibly the third game if you get to one. Do you this week, are you trying to go and plant the seed in his head, to so he can work mentally on maybe preparing for not coming out of the pen? Are you talking to him off to the side or going up to him and having a conversation?
Not him, because he's done it his whole life. That's all he's ever done. So he's really had to learn how to come out of the bullpen. What you do as a coach is, you go by each game, and then you're like, okay, here's where we are, and then you might hold that guy out if you can, knowing that he's going to start Game 3. But right now, our focus is going to be on winning Game 1. We've been in regionals a ton. Try to get that first win, knowing that we'll have Carlson or Knapp right behind them. And man, I tell you, I feel like we got to figure out Bovair and try to get him going, but he'll be in the bullpen the rest of the season. I thought Padgett looked great. He's a freshman. Matty Mathias looked great. He's a freshman. Kyle Percival now is showing us that he can get lefties out, striking out Grice twice. He can match up with lefties, and then you look at how Dalton Pence has been throwing, and as well as Peterson. And then you got Poston. So we feel good about where our arms are. We feel like we're deep enough to win a regional, and we have 2 starters that we like. So I'm excited to see how they do. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Scotty.
Absolutely. Glad I'm talking to you.
Yeah, good stuff.
Great point.
Wasn't ready for Indiana State to plug into the story up there. Had
You know what?
I was like deleting Vanderbilt, Coastal.
I'll wait to see what happens in the regional, then I'll let you in on the secrets.
You can always let us in.
I had a good text exchange. I can't tell you right now.
Let's coach.
You can trust us.
Sure I am. Thank you guys a ton.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, coach.
We'll see you.
Yes, sir.
Y'all, good luck, guys.
Thank you.
That's Mac Horvath if you need it.
Let's move it a little bit over.
Oh, sorry.
That's good.
Watch out for the phone down here.
Step on the phone. We got.
Just hang one off the chain here.
Thanks, sir.
So with Vance's status, it sounds like you're going to be entrenched in center field coming up, and it sounds like you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel comfortable wherever the coaches put me. Just do whatever I can and play wherever I need to just help us win. So.
What's the thought going into the NCAA tournament? I asked Coach about finality. Obviously, draft eligible junior had a great year, but this NCAA tournament's the end of this season, this team. What's the mental process going through to get ready for it?
I think just enjoying the moment, every single moment. Not looking forward to whatever may happen with the draft. Just trying to enjoy it with this team because we'll never be playing together again. And I mean, just trying to have a blast.
So who in the locker room knew about Larry Bird?
Yeah, right.
Well, a lot of us. We actually talked about it at Clemson. We had a discussion on if Larry Bird's an all-star in today's league, and a couple of guys said no, and I thought they were crazy. So, yeah, ridiculous.
I need the names of those.
Really? Call them out right here.
Yes, easy, JB, easy. Get fired up on that right there.
Mike, what do you take away from the ACC tournament? I mean, there was some success there. Clemson jumped on you. Coach Forbes referenced one bad inning. Mm-hmm. What do you take out of that week just going forward?
I think we played well the whole week. Clemson's a really good team, and they're really hot right now, so they're going to be tough to beat. But I think just kind of building off of those first two games, how we played, and just staying confident and trusting our abilities.
Mac, what is the reaction though when you see your name come up with Indiana State? Because I mean, people thought you would be at Coastal or South Carolina or Vandy maybe, and with teams that you're so familiar with, UNCW, Campbell, like now you got Iowa, right? State, it's a different mix than what you guys are used to the last couple of years. What's that like seeing the name pop up with some different teams?
Yeah, I think it's definitely exciting. You don't always want to play the same team all the time, and I think it can be good or bad. Just being not familiar with the team, but that means the other teams aren't familiar with you either. So I think it goes both ways. But I think it's exciting. My mom graduated from Iowa, so make sure she has no Hawkeye gear on when we play them. So.
That's a good tidbit. Thanks for telling us that.
And it's closer to home too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh yeah, it's an easy drive for them.
So can you tell us about the Larry Bird debate? I mean, that'd be some good color to work in there. How did that even happen?
Honestly, I don't know. We were just talking about the NBA at the hotel, and somehow started talking about all the All-Stars and talking about the old players. And there was somebody who thought Larry Bird wasn't an All-Star. He's not in this room.
I was looking at John.
No. And yeah, I was just like, in today's NBA, I mean, he's an All-Star every single time. So.
Okay, so you were Larry Bird stand for that. Okay.
He's an All-Star.
Those guys average 45 or 50 in this day. What for you personally playing center? I mean, I know you say ultimate team player, do whatever, but is there any different mental preparation out in center versus right and definitely third?
I don't think it's too different mentally. I do know though, whenever I'm out there, I always think I'm going to make an unbelievable play. I always think I'm going to throw someone out or make a diving catch. But no, I mean, I like playing out there, and I think it helps our team win. So.
What do you see as your position once you get to the pro level?
Honestly, I mean, it's kind of up to them. I mean, they're the ones that'll be paying me. So.
I mean, if scouts told you, hey, we see you as this or that?
No, I haven't been talking to any scouts right now. So.
You were slipping around a little bit in Durham though, the one day.
Yeah, I did slip there. But
do you walk out there and say, okay, this is my spot? You scout the field. No, when you get out to Terre Haute, look around and say, okay, that wall's like that. I mean, is that something you do?
Definitely will do that, especially in a park not familiar with. And I think we'll be there Thursday for practice, so spend that whole day kind of learning the field. So.
Has the shock of not having Vance worn off, for lack of a better way to say it. I mean, like, yeah, he had never missed a start until a couple weeks ago. Like, have you started to maybe settle into this new normal without him?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just kind of the reality that he's not going to be out there playing. And I've talked to him a little bit that, he's going to be a huge part of the team, just in the dugout, keeping everyone up, because, there's 9 of us on the field at one time, so someone's got to be that leader in the dugout, and I think he's the guy for that. So
Yeah, we saw him clapping in Durham a lot.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, like, I guess it's, and helping out with BP, or not BP, but like infield, outfield. Yeah.
Thanks, Beck.
How is he feeling? Do you think, like, emotionally?
Yeah.
Like, Scott had said that he had tears in his eyes maybe after one doctor visit. Like, where's his head, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough. I've missed games before being injured, whether that be in high school or last year in the Super Regionals. I mean, you want to be out there. I know he wants to be out there extremely bad. He's a big part of this team, but I talked to him and told him, everything happens for a reason, and it may not seem like it right now, but it's going to be a blessing in disguise. So.
Good stuff, Mac.
Thank you.
Always appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Matt.
Thank you.
Anytime you want to drop those names to me, man.
Who is it? Who is
All over
it?
social media, man. Coach got the number and all that, man. Drop those names to me anytime you want.
I mean, it was a fun debate. I mean,
Very embarrassing.
the problem with that, Bird could like foul a bunch of dudes out now, I think, the way
Thank you, guys.
All those
We'll see you,
guys
Mac.
back then
the way it's officiated.
are a hell of a lot tougher than them dudes are now.
Do you need to do it on a chain or?
No,
You should do it.
you're right there. Yeah.
You need to
There's a
get
bunch
changed
down
You
there.
can
up.
put that in your pocket. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, while you're at it, I'm gonna put that right too. Thanks, sir.
Do we need to have like Alicia Keys walk up music?
Yeah,
When I hear it, my ears perk up every time.
it's a good song, huh?
It is a great song.
Yeah.
I love it. We're going. My family and I are going in a couple weeks.
We need
Great
to
place.
have some
So,
discussions.
so it
about
sounds
some-
like you're going to be the consistent starter at third base. Your defense has come really good in the last few weeks. Is any particular reason why you think you've done so much better? Just more experience?
Yeah, I mean, I've always known I can play third. I played in high school some, like when I was in 9th and 10th grade. But yeah, I just think I got more opportunities, to make like those crazy plays. Because it's hard to come by sometimes. But I've always been confident over there, and I'm happy that I've been playing well, at third. Be able to put Mac in center then, so it works out for the whole team.
When you say crazy plays, you mean barehanded stab, like
Yeah.
the one you got the other day. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was the field was so wet. It was like you didn't really know what was going to happen with the ball, and once it was hit, obviously it's going to skid. But I was like, oh, if I go barehanded, it's the only shot I got, and they wound it up in my hand and got the out. Stokely had a great pick at first base. I went back and watched that. That was a tough pick.
When you look, speaking of playing third, you're going to be playing on turf up there. I mean, it makes it quicker, especially if there's any water on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, just what's the mindset getting ready to play on turf versus on grass? Is there one a difference?
Growing up back home in New York, like it's always turf for the most part because the fields it's harder to maintain, I guess. So I've kind of grown into liking turf more. But now being down here, obviously, you got great fields all the time. So I don't know. It's kind of a different mindset, I guess, if it's wet that day or whatnot. Like if the weather's if it's raining, obviously. But I don't think it's that much of a difference for me personally because I've been through it.
How do you like the way you guys are playing heading into the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Clemson game is a tough one. Clemson's a hot team right now, but I think winning those 2 games have really helped us. And everyone's confident. I mean, our goal the whole year was to get to Omaha, so now it's right in front of us, so we're going to be ready to go for that.
And to get there, you're facing teams in the regional that you've never seen before, never faced before. Like we talked about earlier, just how cool is that to take on some fresh teams?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I didn't really know we were going to go there, obviously, but yeah, it's always nice to face off in a team that you haven't faced off with all year. Going to Coastal or a place like that where you've been, you're familiar with it. But I'm excited to see how we play against these guys.
So when the names getting uncovered during the selection show, you see Vandy, Coastal, South Carolina, you're like, all right, this will probably be us. Are you expecting, and then are you surprised when you're not in those sub-regionals?
It's like you get that little build up. It's like you don't know if you're gonna go there or not. But yeah, everyone popped Nashville and then Stillwater were like, oh, we're gonna go here, go there, and we ended up being, I guess that was second to last one that was picked.
Yeah, it lasted a while.
Yeah, we had to wait that whole time. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to go out there, a place we've never been. Obviously, the only thing I know about it is that Larry Bird played there, so that's gonna be cool to get up there and see how it is around there.
Is
What
he
do
an
you been an
all-star?
all-star? What do you been an all-star?
Yeah, go on record with it. Go on record with it.
I was in on that debate. When I was back home, one of my buddies mentioned it, and then I brought it up actually with the team here, and I was on both sides of it. But
Both sides.
yeah, but no, I looked into who the All Stars are this year, or it was last year, I guess. And yeah, I think he'd be an all-star in this league.
And who are
After
the
some consideration.
You were probably a Patrick Ewing guy, maybe. Now he's way too old for you.
No, my dad was Mello. Mello was the guy back then. Yeah.
was there a particular teammate who strongly said, "Oh no, Larry Bird's not an all-star"?
No, I mean, I kind of started it, but no. After like talking it over and looking at some of the stats, I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's
who in that locker room said
What
Larry
did
Bird's
Rich
not an all-star?
Well,
This
I don't-
investigative
There's
reporting.
nobody in specific, but I'll mention I was the one that brought it up, and everyone was against me at first, and then I kind of joined their side.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah.
Anything else, Johnny?
Wanted to ask you about Tomas and the way he's been swinging the bat, and he's pretty freaking hot right now, and it seems like you guys obviously need as much offense as you can get, especially with Vance down. Like, how have you seen him? I don't know, improve, mature, develop, because the numbers really have taken off this season for him. Like, how do you think he's been able to do it?
Yeah, I think he's just. I mean, it's just through hard work. I'm really proud of him how he's kind of matured over these years. Obviously, obviously you didn't know this, but we were roommates freshman year, and we played together with the Canes prior to this, and I'm really happy for him and how he's playing. But I think it was just through hard work that he figured he was an everyday guy last year, and he's like, I gotta get better, help the team, and he stepped up when we needed it, and hopefully he'll do that this weekend again.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say he's been pretty fiery too on the field. And I guess he's the same way in the locker room, in the dugout. What's that like to have that leadership aspect of it?
Yeah, I think it's huge. You always hear him like yelling out stuff from behind the dish, and sometimes sometimes people don't talk, and when he speaks up, like that makes everyone else want to speak up, and he's always been that way, and it's really good to have a leader like that, especially on the field. It's different when there's a leader in the locker room opposed to on the field. Having a guy like that on the field really does help the team overall, I think.
Has there been a moment this year, or maybe in the second half this year, where, with his power, you've been like, oh wow, like this, where it sort of occurred to you, like, wow, he's really made a jump with the power.
Yeah, he's always had it in there. I think it's just a matter of like getting those balls up to left field, instead of just hitting a single or a double. So he's always had it in him, but it's cool to see it, unfold here this year.
What about Alberto? I mean, he struggled bad during the season. Now he's kind of come around. How much does that help, and how much has people in the locker room been talking to him? Just trust the process and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had faith in Alberto, and I know what type of player he is. He's got some of the most power I think I've ever seen, and I'm proud of him for sticking with it. Some guys when they're struggling, they just kind of, get away from their routine or something like that. He's kind of stuck with it and worked hard through it, and it's paying off last weekend, and it's going to pay off the rest of the season for him. Sticking with that, because it's hard when you're struggling in baseball. There's so many games and so many at bats, and then you're on the bench and you're back in and you're struggling. It's just like a whole cycle, and I'm proud of him for working hard through it and sticking with it.
Time for one more.
All right, well, we're good.
Great stuff.
Thanks, John.
Appreciate it. Good talking to you.